Let us govern ourselves accordingly. Let us govern ourselves accordingly. Call everyone to attention to Shabbat, Sabbath. This is the day that Yah has made. And we will rejoice and be glad in it. Somebody give Almighty Yah a hand clap praise. Welcome to Sabbath class and fellowship. I am the facilitator, Apostle Malachi P.L. Reynolds, and I want to personally thank you for taking time out of your schedule, out of reverence for the Most High, so that we can come and fellowship with one another out of our reverence of the Most High in His scriptures and in prayer. Somebody say in prayer. And in fellowship and in praise and in worship. That's what Shabbat class is all about. Give yourselves a hand for being here this morning. At this particular time, we're going to get a precept on keeping Shabbat, the Sabbath day, from Brother Nehemiah.
Leviticus 23:1. And the Elohim spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, The appointed times of the Most High, which you are to proclaim at the set apart gatherings, my appointed times are these. 6 days work is done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest, a set apart gathering. You do no work. It is a Shabbat to the Most High in all your dwellings.
Let's get it one more time, brother.
And the Elohim spake to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, The appointed times of the Elohim, which you are to proclaim as set apart gatherings, my appointed times are these. 6 days work is done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath of rest, a set apart gathering. You do no work. It is the Shabbat to the Elohim in all your dwellings.
Easily read, but a lot of our people find it hard to keep. They find it hard to detox so that they can keep this day that is reverenced by the Most High since the beginning of time, according to Genesis, the 1st chapter. You understand? A lot of people find it so hard to just rest. Rest not from the Most High, to take a vacation not from the Most High, but from all that oppressive work. You understand? Do y'all know, just a brief precept about work was given to Adam as a what? As a curse. Work was given to Adam as a curse. So I thank the Most High that He has allowed us a day that we can definitely keep, where we can rest from that curse, that circular work, where we can set aside time out of our reverence for Him and not be so oppressed where we are stressing ourselves out throughout the week, trying to make a check, living from one check to another. You understand? The Most High is trying to give you a break from all that. You understand? So that you can learn how to not work for your money, but learn how to serve Him, so He can give you the means and the wisdom and the knowledge on how to get wealth, not just get a check. Okay. You see the wisdom of keeping the Most High's day. You understand? We don't come here out of religion, out of tradition, but we come here to learn the principles of the Most High. You understand, on how we can achieve wealth. And wealth is just not a material possession. Wealth is good health. Wealth is a sound mind. Wealth is knowing who you is according to the what? The scriptures. The scriptures. I won't prolong the time. We got a special guest teacher this morning, Elder Ethan. Let's give a brother a hand. He's going to give us a PowerPoint. on the times of the Most High according to the scriptures, okay? Because we have to understand that in order for us to best be in tune with the times of the Most High, we need to be in tune with the scriptures rightly divided. Somebody say rightly divided.
Rightly divided.
Rightly divided. You understand? And you need to know some form of ancient Hebrew to understand things according to our scriptures in reference to the times of the Most High, okay? So that we can detox ourselves from this paganistic culture, okay? At this particular time, we're going to call the brother up so he can come on with the lesson. Give him a hand, y'all. Give him a hand.
Shalom.
Shalom.
How y'all doing? I'm Moray Etan, Ben Israel. Start out by giving our praises to the Most High Yah, the power of our forefathers, Apostolic, and our ancestors. Thank you, Ak Malachi, for allowing me to present this lesson. We're going to be going over Rosh Hashanah, which means the head of the year. Rosh being a Hebrew word meaning head, beginning, or first, and Shana is year. I'm going to give you a brief introduction of the difference in thought. And let me have my Moray Short Takai come up here and assist me.
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
So we're going to go through the difference in the mindset. We know being raised up in America, we have this westernized, standardized world mindset versus our culture, which is a Hebraic thought. So in the standardized mindset, let's say the weekend, we call the weekend what? Saturday and Sunday. Hebraically, we know that the weekend is today, the Sabbath, the end of the week, one day. It's a different mindset. Also, like with days, some people keep days different. The American to tell you that 12:01 a.m., that's a new day.
Yeah.
But ironically, at 12 o'clock, it's called midnight. So you go from midnight and 1 minute later, you're in a whole other day. It doesn't even, really make sense. Versus Genesis 1 verse 5, it says there was evening, then there was morning, day one. So you have plenty of precepts that give us our days from evening. You're unclean to evening. You sacrifice the Pesach, Bain Arabim, which means between the evenings. So that's just a little bit on thought, Hebraic thought on the days. Now we go to the years. They say New Year's January 1st. It's dead winter. Got your animals hibernating, birds that flew south, they left. Nobody want to come outside, it's cold. Your plants are dying, everything looks dead, but it's New Year. Now, Hebraically, we know our New Year is in the springtime. Got your animals coming back, plants are growing, things is lively. Go to the next slide, show you a difference. Now look at this script, this picture right here. That's your winter time, and that's when they say it's New Year's.
What's it new about that?
Right, nothing looks new about that. That looks like an old year. Versus, look at this picture. Looks life. You think of life as in a new beginning, for as when a baby is born.
That's right.
That's the beginning of life.
Right.
You don't say you're being born on your deathbed because you died and you're out of there. So we see the difference in standardized thought versus Hebraic thought. So now we're going to get into scriptures. So, according to the biblical New Year, if you can read for me, brother, Shemot, Exodus chapter 12, verses 1 through 2. Then we're going to break down and see when Yah told us our New Year was going to be and see if it lines up with the standardized thought. Okay.
Shemot 12 or Exodus 12. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and to Aaron in the land of Mithraim, saying, this new moon is the beginning of the new moons for you. It is the first new moon of the year for you.
Okay, so he said, this new moon is the new moon for you. It is the beginning of the new moon of the years. So how do we know what season or time this was when he was identifying this particular new moon as the head of the year? So we'll go to Exodus 3, 13 and 4. 13 and 3, slick out 13, 3 through 4. So now we get some kind of time frame on when this is talking about.
Shemot or Exodus 13 and 4. Today you are going out in the new moon, Abib.
Okay.
And it shall be when the Elohim brings you into the land of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, which he swore to your fathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey, that you shall keep this service in this new moon.
Okay, that's good. So you notice it said that this new moon of Abib. So now this is giving you a sign, of where we're at for as when this new moon is taking place.
And a lot of people get it confused because we thinking Abib is a month.
Dang.
A lot of people go around saying that the new year starts on April 1st because Abib means April.
Right.
But biblically, that's not true. Abib is actually a crop.
Okay.
And that's what we got to pay attention to.
Okay. So we'll go down to Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 1, verse 14. And we'll see what the Most High gave us for signs to pay attention to his Moedim, which means appointed times. Because in order for us to be on track with the Most High, we have to watch his signs that he give us, and he always will leave us a sign to know how to be in one accordance with him.
Genesis of Bereshit 1 and verse 14. And Elohim said, let lights come to be in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and appointed times, and for days and years.
Okay, let me start right there. So we see the Most High gave us the lights in the skies, the Orim. Or means light in Hebrew, plural, Orim. So,
Excuse me, because some people Bible say seasons.
right.
So just so y'all do understand, because some people says that it's seasons, but we don't understand in Hebrew that the word for seasons is actually moedah or moed,
Right.
and that means
times.
appointed time.
Okay. In the Most High's appointed times, not our appointed times. So
Okay.
that means he have control over that. So drop down to Devarim, Deuteronomy 16 and 1, and we're going to get a little more on the sign of a bee. Okay.
Devarim or Deuteronomy 16 and 1. Guard the new moon of Abib and perform the Pesach to Yahuwah your Elohim. For in the new moon of Abib, Yahuwah your Elohim brought you out of Mizraim by night.
Okay, so this goes on to what he was saying. So a lot of people say that the first month is called Abib. This says guard the new moon of Abib. So this is letting you know that this is not the name. This is a sign. This is something going on. So what is going on in this new moon of Abib? So now we'll break down the definition of the word, as the brother was saying. So Abib means fresh, young barley, or the month of the ear forming. So basically what this is saying is when the barley is ripening, that is technically the stage of Abib. It's not a name of a month. It's a season, a stage
During the development of the barley.
Okay, exactly.
Say it again, brother. Say it again about
Abib. It's basically when the barley is in the ear. So when the barley is budding, when it's ripening, being matured to grow, so it can be harvested. As we know, that's our first fruit for the wave offering.
Yeah.
So it has to be harvested, and our wave offering is right after Pesach. So it has to be harvested and ready to be harvested to be able to present as a wave offering. Have to have a bead to have a bead. So now let's go to Exodus 9:31. And this is going to give us an example of the different stages in different crops and let you know about a bead and
What it really is.
right, okay. Now, if many don't know, this is when the Most High was bringing these plagues on Egypt or Mitzrayim. And so this is when he brought the hail. Now pay attention to what happens to what the hail did.
Exodus or Shemot 9:31. And the flax and the barley were struck, for the barley was in the head and the flax was in bud. But the wheat and the spelt were not struck, for they were late crops.
Okay, so we see that the flax and the barley were struck. It says because the barley was in the head and the flax was in the bud. Now in the Hebrew, it reads Wahapish ta Wahash Ora Nukata Ki Hash Aroa Abib. Now this word Abib is describing when it says the barley was in the head and the flax was in the bud. So we see that it's using the word Abib for describing the ripeness of the grain, the barley. And if you pay attention to the next verse, read verse 32.
32 says, but the wheat and the spelt were not struck, for they were late crops.
They were not in the stage of a bead.
Right,
This is also letting you know that the barley grows first.
right,
This is the reason why it's our first fruit,
right.
because it's a natural plant that grows in these regions.
Now,
Now,
it actually goes first, actually.
right,
Matter of fact, let's prove that Abib was actually the first fruit also. Give me Leviticus 2:14.
okay,
Because a lot of people don't really know what the first fruit is.
right.
I hope nobody's saying orange or apple either.
Right.
But for biblical purposes, we're going to definitely find out and see what the first fruit is.
Right.
2:14.
Leviticus away 2:14. And if you bring a grain offering of your first fruits to Yahuwah, bring for the grain offering of your first fruits green heads of grain roasted on the fire, crushed heads of new grain.
And then you just said what green ears were?
Okay, that's a
Okay.
bead.
And actually, if you go in the Hebrew, that word where it says green ears, it actually says Abib again.
Okay. So this is letting us know what our first fruits actually is.
It's
right?
literally Abib because it actually grows first.
Right.
And it makes sense if it's called Abib because it's showing you that this is the sign from the Most High, that this is the time we came up out of Egypt.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to bring out, because in Exodus 9:31, they were in Egypt. These were the plagues coming to Egypt, but it says the flax and the barley was struck. So this lets you know that this is a natural crop in that whole region. If it's our first fruits in Israel, and it was growing in Egypt, this lets you know that this is a natural grown crop in that whole region. Right. You don't have to go out there and plant it. I don't have to go out there and plant it. That means we're not in control of the growth.
That's right.
The Most High is in control of the growth. So if it's ready because it's on his terms, not our terms.
And just in case y'all don't know, barley, especially in the stage of Abib, was used a lot in scripture, often.
Right.
Over and over again. It was always in the stage of Abib because we parched it with fire, and that's how we ate the seeds, So because when it goes past the stage of Abib, it actually becomes liquid.
Right.
So you actually can't even use it the way you can when it's in the stage of Abib. So it's very important to understand this time of this crop. That's why he said observe the Abib.
Right. Okay, you gotta watch. So now on that, since we know that the Most High controls the growth of it, growing up, let's go back to standard thought. How many months in a year?
12.
That's what they say. But the Most High said, this is the new moon of Abib. So what if in the 12th month it's not Abib yet? What if it wasn't ready yet?
There you go.
Right, okay.
But you know they call it the leap year.
Right.
And it's just the one extra day in February.
Right.
But no, they still got it from
From the Hebrew culture.
and it's actually a whole month.
Exactly.
That's
Because
actually-
you can't say, okay, well, this is the 12th month. Abib not ready yet. Well, okay, we're going into the 13th month. Oh, Abib ready. It's a new month. No, you gotta wait till the new moon because it says go at the new moon of Abib. You gotta have your signs in order. So
But it makes sense though, because if all our holy days, we must do such on 10th day of
Right.
such and
Okay.
such month, 15th day of such and such month.
Right.
That lets you know it have to be very important when it's the first day of the first month. Otherwise, you're gonna get all these days
all
incorrect.
your days and how we gonna serve the Most High.
So it starts
Correct.
with observing